Do you really need a bamboo whisk to make matcha? Sure, the bamboo whisk is a traditional tool used in Japanese tea ceremonies, but is it actually essential? Or just a cultural symbol? Instead of buying a bamboo whisk just for matcha, could you use something you already have at home to make a delicious matcha? Or maybe there is an even easier way to prepare matcha without sacrificing taste? I'm Japanese, but I love exploring methods that are efficient and truly make sense. In this video, I tested making matcha using a variety of tools, focusing on two key points: the taste, aroma, and appearance of the matcha, and how easy it is to prepare. By the end of this video, you will know which tool works best. In this experiment, I prepared matcha using 6 different tools: a plastic whisk, a milk frother, a Japanese bamboo whisk, a hand whisk, a spoon, and a protein shaker. First, I set up 6 cups and placed 2 grams of matcha into each one. After finishing 1 cup, I quickly moved on to the next to minimize changes in appearance over time, aiming to keep the test as fair as possible. Now, using 40 ml water at around 65 degrees, I will prepare each matcha for 1 minute with each tool. First, the plastic whisk. I bought this on Amazon for about $5. It's lightweight and feels comfortable to hold. Let's see how it performs. It does seem to mix the matcha, but the foam is very coarse. It doesn't look very appealing. As for the taste, it lacks the smooth mouthfeel you get with a bamboo whisk. The bitterness hits you right away. It's also not mixed very evenly, leaving a gritty texture on the tongue with a rough, unpleasant aftertaste. Next, the milk frother. This one cost about $12. It's very powerful, so it seems like it should mix the matcha really well. It might even make better matcha more easily than a bamboo whisk. Let's give it a try. It mixes very quickly thanks to its strong power, but it also splashes matcha around. You may need to be careful with how you use it and what kind of bowl you choose. Here is the result. It looks nicely for me at first glance, but compared to matcha made with a bamboo whisk, the foam is slightly coarser. Also, if the frother touches the bowl, it could potentially damage the matcha bowl. Now, let's check the taste. As soon as you take a sip, there is a sharp bitterness and astringency that hits your tongue. It is well mixed, so there is no gritty texture from the powder, but overall, it's very bitter and leaves a harsh prickly sensation in the mouth. And now, the bamboo whisk. This is the one I personally use. It's a Takayama chasen. Let's prepare the matcha. As expected, it's very easy to use and quickly creates a fine, delicate foam. The bubbles are small and smooth, and the foam layer looks deeper and more consistent. Now for the taste. It's excellent. It's excellent. Thanks to the creamy foam, the texture is incredibly smooth on the tongue. It's well mixed, so it feels light and clean, not heavy at all. You get the natural bitterness of matcha, balanced with a subtle sweetness, giving the flavor real depth and complexity. Next, the hand whisk. This is a common household tool, so many people may already have one. It would be great if you could make good matcha with something so versatile. Let's give it a try. It's a bit difficult to mix. Unlike a bamboo whisk, which has 80 to 120 fine prongs, a hand whisk only has a few metal loops, so it doesn't mix very efficiently. And it can be quite tiring to use. Also, if the whisk scrapes against the bowl, it could potentially damage the matcha bowl. As for the result, it mixes to some extent, but the foam is coarse and not very stable. It looks like it will disappear quickly. Now for the taste. It's bitter and astringent. It's not as sharply intense as the milk frother, but there is a heavy bitterness that lingers. The matcha isn't fully blended, and you can sometimes feel small clumps of powder. Next, let's test our spoon. This is even more common than a hand whisk. Almost everyone has one at home. It would be great if you could make good matcha as easy as stirring sugar into coffee. Let's try it. Honestly, it's very difficult to mix. No matter how much you stir, it doesn't form at all, and it doesn't really feel like the matcha and water are combining properly. After stirring for 1 minute, this is what it looks like. It almost seems like the water and matcha are separated. As for the taste, it's the worst so far. Without any foam, there is no smoothness, just constant bitterness. It's not well mixed, so you can feel the powder on your tongue. Even after drinking, that gritty texture lingers, leaving your tongue feeling heavy and unpleasant. And finally, the protein shaker. You just put everything in and shake it, so it seems very convenient, especially for busy mornings or when you want to drink matcha on the go. Let's try it. Since you just shake it, it's not difficult, but it definitely gives your arm a workout. Shaking this for a few minutes turned out to be a pretty good exercise. Here's how it looks. It's very foamy, but the bubbles are extremely coarse, with no real smoothness. As for the taste, the bitterness isn't as strong, probably because of all the foam. However, it completely lacks the deep, rich flavor that matcha should have. It tastes thin and flat, more like some kind of matcha flavored liquid rather than real matcha. Out of all 6, this one is the most blunt. Also, since it's just shaken, the powder doesn't fully dissolve. You can still feel some of the matcha particles on your tongue from time to time. It's not evenly mixed, and the powdery aftertaste makes it unpleasant. So, to sum it all up, just like an espresso machine is the best tool for making espresso, it turns out that a bamboo whisk is still the best tool for preparing matcha. Here's a quick overview of the matcha made with each tool. As you can see, the matcha prepared with the bamboo whisk has the finest and most even foam. That smooth, delicate foam helps create a rich flavor with a subtle natural sweetness. And here's a comparison table summarizing the differences in taste, appearance, and overall performance. So, why does this happen? Let's take a closer look. First, the plastic whisk. Although it has a similar shape to a bamboo whisk, it only has about 55 pounds compared to the 80 to 120 pounds of a traditional bamboo whisk. Because of this, it likely can't produce the same fine, delicate foam. Also, the tips are thicker, which makes it harder to properly break up and mix the matcha powder. This can lead to clumps forming and an uneven mix, resulting in a gritty texture on the tongue. As for the milk frother, I still haven't fully figured out why it makes the matcha taste so bitter and astringent. However, It's clear that the strong mixing power may be stripping away some of matcha's natural depths of flavor and aroma. Next, the bamboo whisk. This experiment once again confirmed that a bamboo whisk is the best tool for preparing matcha. With its 80 to 120 flexible, finely crafted bamboo prongs, it evenly disperses the ultra-fine matcha powder into the water, creating a smooth and drinkable consistency. It also allows precise wrist movement to incorporate air into the mixture, resulting in a light, creamy foam and a smooth mouthfeel. As for the hand whisk, it only has a small number of wire loops, which makes it difficult to properly mix the matcha. That likely led to the result. It also lacks the flexibility of a bamboo whisk, which may be another reason why it couldn't create a good, stable form. The spoon turned out to be the most difficult tool to mix with out of all 6. It has no fine tips and no flexibility, so it's clear that it can't properly blend the matcha powder. The protein shaker may look like it creates a good amount of foam at first, but the result is a flat and unremarkable taste that lacks matcha's distinctive richness and flavor. One possible reason is that the larger surface area exposed to air causes the aroma to dissipate more easily compared to the matcha prepared with a bamboo whisk. Also, unlike a bamboo whisk, it can't incorporate air in a fine, delicate way, which makes it difficult to achieve that smooth, creamy form. So, were you surprised by the results? If you want to make delicious matcha, a bamboo whisk is definitely the way to go. I will leave the name of Japanese bamboo whisk plants that I recommend in the description below. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed a lot. If you have any questions or your opinions, please leave a comment. My ultimate goal is to create my own matcha brand someday, so I would really appreciate your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I will see you in the next video.